I could do this myself.
Yes, you should do it yourself. Every black man should have. Listen, man, this information dangers me. This came from Peter Nygaard. All right, you could Google him.
Oh, okay.
Dude's a billionaire.
Okay.
All right. When I first sat down with him in the Bahamas, I was with Minister Farrakhan. We was at his house for like 2 weeks in the Bahamas, and Nygaard actually gave up some seed money a number of years ago in 2012 for us to get started with Empowerment Radio Network. All right. So when I sat down with Mr. Nygaard and I was like, yo, what is wealth about? You know, Mr. Nygaard was like, it's not about, and this is on, mind you, this guy has his own island. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Called Google Nygaard K, NYGARD and then space CAY. It's in the Bahamas. We on his own island. All right. I'm with Minister Farrakhan and Bev Smith. Mr. Nygaard is like, you know, I'm like, and then obviously you can see the plane and everything. He's got like 2 or 3 jets.
Yeah.
That's the island there. We had to get to the island by boat. And so we come up on the beach or whatever. And, you know, I'm like, man, this is nuts. I was like, yo, Mr. Nygaard, what's your definition of wealth? And he goes, it's not money. It's having access to clean air, clean water, and clean food. This is as his people are bringing me his own water, Nygaard water. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got his own island, man, and it's got an Aztec theme to it, as you can see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's a very esoteric. I mean, he's a billionaire. You know, these guys do what they want to do. So whatever he's thinking, that's what they do. And he loves black women. As you can see, he's got 10 or 20 black women around him at any given time. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is real. It's not a joke. So, matter of fact, I went down there and I saw one of my homegirls I hadn't seen in like 10, 15 years. I was like, man, what are you doing down here? She was like, yeah, I'm on the island. Yeah, so the long and the short is, when you dealing with people like this, you know, and they're saying, regardless of, you know, his dealings, you know, his model and his ideology is to ensure that he has access to these things for his family and for the people in his community. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a major contributor and statesman for the Bahamas, you know. So when the Bahamas wanted to go to the to perform for the track team and the Bahamian government didn't have enough money, Mr. Nygaard put the whole Bahamian track team on his plane and flew them to the Olympics, and they won. All right, and he allowed for them to practice on his island. So you know, the dude is an awesome cat as it relates to humanitarian and black people. You know, he's for black economics. Matter of fact, what brought me down there was his neighbor, who was another billionaire who lives in the island next door, Louis Bacon, tried to burn Mr. Nygaard's house down. And Mr. Bacon tried to buy some land. Actually, you can see right there, that was the actual event that brought us down there. Minister Farrakhan is there. If you dig deeper, you'll see some photos of us, you know, there. But the long and the short, Farrakhan and myself and Miss Bev were brought in to bring awareness to this situation. But the long and the short, Louis Bacon was attempting to buy sacred land that our ancestors were buried on. It was called Clifton National Heritage Park. This was a site that Africans were basically, they died at. It was a plantation, Wiley Plantation. And so this dude wanted to buy the land and build hotels on it. And Mr. Nygaard, and if you see it, that photo right there to the left, the far left, that's a structure that was built by the ancestors that out of the trees, you know, basically paying homage to them because they didn't know which way to go to get back home.
Wow.
Yeah. And so this white man, Bacon, wanted to buy this land and build hotels. And Nygaard got behind the people in the Bahamas and the community, and they called my the network. They called Empowerment, looking for Miss Bev, and Miss Bev called Minister Farrakhan. Next thing I know, we was on a plane, and we was at this dude's house, you know, on his island, strategizing on how to shut this down, and the guy didn't buy the land. So what I'm saying is, when you're dealing with people like this on this level, and they telling you money is not important, but having access to clean food, clean water, and being able to breathe, Come on, man. You know, the first time I had ever seen air filtration was on his property, because he had
filtration.
Yeah, so they got chemtrails, you know, and chemtrails they spray. You know, the government has a program where they're spraying, and they're telling you is to put up a shield to avoid the Russians from spying on us, all this foolishness. But basically, they spraying you to take down your life, you know, to cut down your life expectancy. And so these particles that are being sprayed on us are not good for us. I mean, our skin is our biggest organ, and our skin is absorbing all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so when I was on the island, they had some people flying over. When Farrakhan was there was a plane flying over the house, you know, dropping this stuff. And we were all looking at it, man. He was like, man, Mr. Nygaard himself was like, I hate those damn planes. He said he was going to put some ballistics on the property to shoot them planes down, but he didn't want no problems. You know what I'm saying? So, but what he did to counter this stuff is that he had these air filtration devices that filter out the air. Mm-hmm. You know, so whatever they was dropping, you know, he was able to he had a countermeasure for that set up on his own property.
Wow.
So this is what I'm saying is, even though he's a billionaire and he's got access to super resources, there is a takeaway from that, you know, and we can do these things on very small levels, which is why I know to do these things. You know, when you're saying, well, damn, how you know this? Well, you know, when I was on the property, the first thing I did was I said to one of the workers, the people that worked here, I was like, I want to see the water treatment center. And they took me to it, and I took pictures of it. I went on Amazon. I was like, dang, this is where you go to get this. This is how you put this together. I'm asking about all this stuff. I'm inquiring, you know. And so we inquired, and then I came back home. I installed it at my primary residence. I got access to clean water. And when I was there, you know, drinking that water was the best water I had ever drank in my entire life. I had the most energy I ever had in my life. So what I'm saying is, you know, we got to start really getting our information from different sources. You know, I don't believe that we should be like, yo, all these white folks is the devil, because that's not necessarily the case, man. If white folks have consistently been able to practice wealth building for generations and successfully transfer that to their siblings, we haven't. We can amass wealth vis-a-vis the Michael Jackson Family Trust, you know, a $9 billion asset, but when we transfer it for whatever means, it gets sold for $750 million. The Prince estate can amass wealth through music catalogs and build a $5 billion, from what I was told, music catalog, but then some type of way die, and then 2 weeks later have your vault that no one else could access drilled, and they take all your music. So we can build wealth, but we just, for some reason, don't seem to be able to transfer it. That's the main problem. So until we can master that, we have to engage the other side. We have to engage, because our livelihood depends on that. You know, everybody want to say, oh, we got to go black to Africa and we got to have our own stuff. We need Black Town and Black Africa and all this type of stuff. Negroes been running around raising money for schools that ain't even built yet, man. Come on, yo. What are you talking? Where's the money for these schools, for these institutions? I ain't taking no shots. But what I'm saying is, can't nobody come at me on some, yo, what are you doing with the money? Because Empowerment Radio is on the air. You know what I'm saying? Every day. So, you know, there's $5 million worth of real estate assets under management that don't got no mortgages on them. You know what I'm saying? So we have to take a better account of our finances and what we're doing with our finances. And I'm not perfect. I'm not the guru, but we have to, as a people, get more serious about our finances. It cannot be about some esoteric concept on what revolution is for Black people. That's out of here, man. If you're not taking the time to train your people and inform them on their economic state, you're doing a disservice to the community, man. So that's just my stance on that. I ain't taking no shots, but we got to do better, man. When people entrust you with these thousands of dollars and you're selling them on ideas, you got to make good on those ideas. You owe it to the community, man. So that's just what it is.